There is a kind of secret menu within Cold War Zombies that I'm sure many of you have never seen before, where for some reason Treyarch gave the offline Zombies menu more options and more detail than the regular menu that actually does give us new details on content coming to Cold War Zombies soon. With the first season of Cold War releasing on December 16th, Treyarch has promised us new Zombies modes, with the options and information available in this offline menu giving us the first indication about what new and custom modes Treyarch may be intending to add into this game. That's because when we go ahead and create a match here in the offline mode, and then head over to the change mode section, there's a bunch of things to consider here. The very first is the tab at the top of the page that says official. Obviously noting that all of the Zombies game modes that are listed here are the official game modes created by Treyarch, which is very telling about possible customization options coming to Zombies soon, but there's more evidence of that within the menus in just a second, because in this menu we also get a look at the way Treyarch will define their new game modes being added with Season 1, with modes that will use the traditional Zombies round-based system being under this round-based heading. You'll notice that it's almost like a folder within the computer, right? Where the first round-based is the highest folder, you click into that folder and there's more options. But of course, with there only being one round-based game mode so far in the game, only one displays, but as Treyarch adds more will be available under this heading here. So locking in that round-based mode, we can now head to options that for whatever reason, straight up aren't available when you play online, when you have online access, then they're only available in this offline Zombies menu. And while at first glance, this page might not look like much, it tells us a lot about what Treyarch may be intending to do with the future of game modes in this game. So first off, let's focus on the first three subheadings within the menu itself here. The first is obviously mode, which is round-based. The second, for the author of the mode, is Treyarch with an orange tag beside it, and we'll get to why that's important in a second. And under that we have default settings. Well, from here we can go into a further customization menu that lets us change the two options of the round-based modes that we have in the game right now, where it's endless or round 20. Now you'll notice that when I switch it to round 20, the authorship of the game mode switches from the Treyarch official tag to my name, COD Zombies HQ. Now obviously you'll notice that listed under the author of the game mode, there's no official tag like there was with Treyarch. And the reason for that is most likely because if Treyarch decides to make custom game modes with custom options here in Cold War Zombies, if your name in-game on Battle.net or somehow on PlayStation or Xbox was Treyarch or something that looks very similar to it, and you're able to possibly share the settings of your custom game mode, people that download it won't be confused by a spoofed Treyarch name because it doesn't have that official tag. And under the settings tab, notice how it says general and then 20 rounds. Well, I got to thinking that we've seen this exact listing before, where if you head back over to Black Ops 4 in the Custom Mutations menu, where you can edit various game rules of your custom mode, within the general tab there is a round cap function that caps the rounds at round 20, exactly like we see in this variant of the round-based game mode within Cold War Zombies. So if Treyarch seems to be using the custom mutation system from Black Ops 4 to help build different game modes here in Cold War Zombies, that really does explain why the last subheading within this menu is restrictions. Because back on Black Ops 4 Zombies Custom Mutations, you can edit a whole bunch of restrictions for yourself during the game mode. You can set your starting health to really low, you can set it so you only can use certain types of weapons, you can restrict your use to certain type of weapons, certain types of perks, amongst a whole bunch of other tweaks and options that you can use to change up your game mode. Now the fact that Treyarch is using a system that seems either to be entirely based or very similar to the options available in the Custom Mutations menu built in Black Ops 4, depending on your opinion of custom mutations in that game, it could either be really exciting for Cold War, or it could be something that is actually not that great, especially in light of the news of the content Treyarch intends to release with Season 1 for Zombies. That's because it presents us with kind of a worst case scenario option for what these new game modes might end up being when Treyarch decides to release them. With the functionality of the custom mutation system obviously being available to the Treyarch developers at this time, just not available to the public, there is the option that Treyarch just might fire up their own in-house version of the custom mutations menu, go fiddle around with the options, maybe make you start at a certain higher round, or you start with better weaponry, or you're restricted to a certain type of weaponry while all the zombies are super sprinters or something like that, and just call it a new game mode. Where notice that Treyarch has been consistent in advertising that multiple game modes, plural, will be making their way into the game with Season 1. A super easy, low effort way to do that for them would just to be make a few different modes with different kinds of restrictions between them and just call it a new thing. Now that of course is the worst case scenario for the new type of modes we'll be getting in this game, because it's kind of straight up unimaginative, low effort, and judging by the response, or really lack thereof, of any kind of interest or massive use of the custom mutation system in Black Ops 4 Zombies, I don't really think players will let Treyarch get away with just modifying some custom mutation options like you could do yourself within Black Ops 4 Zombies. Now it does present the other option before we go into the best case scenario, and that is they might end up bringing the custom mutations feature set into Cold War Zombies. Which, hey, I guess that's a pretty cool thing, but we only have one map to use that new feature set on, and like I said earlier, the custom mutation system for Black Ops 4 wasn't really used by that many people, so I doubt people would be too happy with that. Then on the flip side, there is the best case scenario of new game modes coming into Zombies that actually take effort and creativity to create, and most importantly, I can't stress this enough, solve a problem that Treyarch has seemingly never been able to solve up until this point, of having a good number of Zombies players actually play that new game mode compared to the classic round-based style. The closest they got to that point was in Black Ops 2, but they haven't even come close since. This has been a problem that Treyarch has been trying to solve for a very, very long time, ever since Black Ops 2. And I know this because when speaking to the former head of Zombies over at Treyarch, Jason Blundell, during the Black Ops 4 reveal event, we specifically asked him about other game modes coming to Zombies. And while he repeated some of the platitudes we've heard before, that he wanted to make sure that the new game modes would be right, that they'd be great, and they'd be fun, the other thing he mentioned is that if the team is going to put work into creating these new game modes, they want to make sure that they'll actually be played by the community. And ever since Black Ops 2's other game modes, they've unfortunately failed in that aspect, where a lot of players just simply didn't try the other game modes available in Black Ops 4 Zombies. The solution to this problem for Treyarch is obvious to anybody in the Zombies community that you ask, where time and time again people have been asking to bring back a little bit of the competitive aspect of Zombies in a way that is still fundamentally Zombies, that is still player versus AI, but you're trying to battle other people to complete a certain objective. The most obvious example of that is the calls for Treyarch to bring back Grief, which is a player versus environment game mode in which it's essentially a 8-person game of zombies, where there's 2 teams of 4, you can play zombies as you normally do, and your whole objective is to outlast the other team. That provides a bit of competitive aspect to Zombies, where it'll keep players coming back for game after game trying to beat other teams, because not every team is the same, and every single game will be different because the players on the other team are different. While at the same time, this isn't multiplayer and all of the ills that come with COD multiplayer, you're still fighting zombies, you're still playing the regular Zombies mode. And for the first time in a very long time, the Grief mode would actually make sense within the universe of Zombies this year, with there being 2 competing groups within the storyline, Requiem and Omega Group, which would fit perfectly as the 2 teams within this new Grief mode, where players that get placed on the Requiem team will be able to use their favorite operator from the NATO class of operators, and players placed on the Omega Group team will be able to choose their favorite operator from the Warsaw Pact selection of operators, so that it makes sense. This is beyond a doubt the best fit that a Grief or a Grief type game mode has ever had in a Zombies mode since Black Ops 2, where everything from the gameplay to the map mechanics to the actual storyline, embracing the 2-team concept of Grief mode itself, lining up to create the perfect storm needed to bring it back in the Zombies for the first time in a very long time. In that best case scenario, Treyarch will deliver to the community something that won't just be played once and then never again, but rather a game mode that will be truly popular, that will drag people in and keep them playing zombies until we get a new map either later on in Season 1 or at the beginning of Season 2. And with the Zombies game mode taking more influences and seemingly to be built off of both multiplayer and Warzone more than ever, it seems more likely now than it ever has before that above 4-player zombies, that grief mode could return in this game. Treyarch has a real opportunity to make it happen, to impress the community. We'll see if they follow through. But if you did enjoy this video, hey, consider leaving a thumbs up on it, and why not subscribe to the channel? Because we'll be getting actual information from Treyarch themselves about what at least one of these new game modes will be when added into the game very soon. You can be sure we'll update you on what exactly that will be when it happens. But I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in another Zombies news video tomorrow. Peace.